Hey, what's up guys, Devil Gamer here, and we're back with more Battlefield 4 weapon loadouts. And if I cough a little bit, I'm sorry, I'm sick as a fucking dog, and I've been trying to put this off until I got better, but I'm not getting any better, so we're just gonna have to deal with this. But anyways, we're talking about the M416, also known as the HK416, and we're gonna talk a little bit about it in real life first. The 416, which is made by H&K, the same people that make the MP5 and, you know, the USP, the G36, and all the greatest weapons in the entire world. I fucking love H&K. They developed the HK416. Now, back in the early 90s, they came to Delta Force, which is America's premier counterterrorism, pretty much the SAS of America, and asked them to help design a rifle that was more reliable and more efficient than the M4 and M16. And the HK416 was the outcome of that, and has then been adopted by majority of the Special Operations community, including the American Special Operations community, as well as the Norwegian Armed Forces have made this their standard assault rifle. And that's a lot to say for a weapon that countries are just switching over. Fires about 800 to 900 rounds per minute, fires the 5.56 NATO, which is a shit round to begin with, and is supposedly the gun that killed Osama bin Laden, as, you know, SEAL Team 6, DevGru, was using this weapon at the time of the raid. And it's kind of a famous weapon now, pretty much like the gun that killed Kennedy. So it's going to go down in history. What makes the weapon really, you know, desirable to a lot of the community is the piston system that it uses to, you know, cycle the bolt and extract and, you know, eject and load the round, which is being adopted a lot more than to civilian firearms and other military weapons, but it was kind of the baseline of how reliable this weapon is, as it is much better than the gas system that is used right now. And it's pretty much, you know, it kind of mirrors the layout of the M4, and it's easy to use. It's easy to use, it's very reliable, and it's a good weapon, and that's why a lot of special operations communities used it. There's also a version of it called the M416, which is used in the Marine Corps, actually, in a large-scale testing, and I think that they ordered 5,000 of them to replace the SAW as a squad automatic weapon. And it's just a larger version of the 416. It's pretty much all it is. And that's how widespread this weapon is having an impact within the services. Now, let's talk about it in-game a little bit. Now, the M416, to me, is a baseline assault rifle. This weapon is the baseline you judge every other assault rifle in this game. It almost has the same problem as it did during Battlefield 3, which is where it's OP because of the recoil and the amount of damage it does and its accuracy. But I would say it's not the most OP weapon. There's plenty of weapons out there that I consider in Battlefield 4 to be retarded in need of nerf. Now, the 416 isn't one of them at all. I believe this weapon is how you should judge every other assault rifle in that category, and just based off it, you should use it as a baseline, because this is one of the best. It is the best. It's not the best, but it's the best that doesn't need nerfing. It's pretty much the perfect one. Now, it shoots around 800 rounds per minute in Battlefield 4, which is good because it lets it keep up with those high rate of fire assault rifles that really just do damage at close quarter, while this weapon is just a street sweeper when it comes to close quarter combat. Now, I've messed around with quite a few of the loadouts, and one of the best loadouts I was able to find for it is the laser sight, muzzle brake, stubby grip, and the infrared scope. Just because the infrared scope, I mean, everyone talks about the infrared scope being overpowered. I mean, you could throw it on some shit weapons, and it's going to be shit. But if you couple it with the perfect weapon, like the M416, it's just a dominating beast, and no one can hide, no one can run, and they're pretty much all dead. It's just the way it is. With the little built-in zoom, you're able to pick out targets a lot better, and I mean, you can actually use every round in that magazine and put it on target, no problem whatsoever. Some of the other attachments I tried was reflex and hollow, and I tried some of the ACOGs and everything else. I really didn't like them. I didn't like them for the weapon setup. The 416, I mean, you kind of need that wide visual range, because this is a weapon to where you can go against multiple people and take them all down, no problem whatsoever. So you really need that extra sight area to be able to switch targets faster, and the reflex is perfect for that. The hollow kind of takes up a little bit of screen space, and it makes it hard to find targets to kill. So it's really, to me, between the infrared and the reflex. Those are the only two attachments I would ever put on it, and that's the two attachments I'd run. I tried compensator a little bit and the muzzle brake, and I really found that the compensator didn't do much and to really help it. The muzzle brake seemed to be the best attachment, so I would go along with the suppressor. But you know, the suppressor's not really needed. You're not trying to hide from people. You're trying to get up in their face and mow them down. So it was really up to the muzzle brake. And the grips, I mean, it goes without saying, I use stubby grip on everything just because it is the best, so I keep it that way. So it's pretty much muzzle brake, stubby grip, laser sight, and then either reflex or IR are what I use for it. And it becomes perfect. It's a game changer. If you had an entire squad running 416s with that setup, you would win easily. There's no question about it. It can definitely reach out and touch people in medium to long range, and up close and personal, it takes everyone out. So it is one of the best weapons for Battlefield 4, and it's pretty much one of the few weapons that I just leave in my loadout, just because when shit hits the fan and there starts to be a bad round with other weapons, I bust that thing out, and it will definitely up my KDR a lot more than any other weapon. A lot of people are crying, saying that it's overpowered and needs a nerf. I don't think so. I think it's perfect for the way it plays in Battlefield 4. There shouldn't be a change at all. And there's quite a few other weapons that I feel should just be nerfed immediately, and this is not one of them whatsoever. They shouldn't touch it. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. It's perfect for what it does. A lot of people complain that it feels kind of like a Call of Duty laser rifle. I find that ridiculous, and that it's not really a laser rifle at all. There still is a lot of initial recoil, especially when you're burst firing. That makes it hard to reach out and touch people in long range, but it's able to hold its own against a lot of these other guns that need nerfing, and it definitely stacks up to it. It's definitely the weapon that I would choose if you're going to run assault class. Definitely choose it if you don't feel like being gay and playing with one of those freaking stupid laser rifles that they have. This is one of the best weapons, especially if you're trying to run and gun and get up close and personal in the face of the enemy team. This is one of the weapons you need to use. It definitely will help you out quite a bit. But I do like it. I do like it at all. I do like it. It's a very good weapon, and it's one of my favorite assault rifles for sure. Oh, excuse me. I'm fucking feeling like garbage right now. Good old Devil Dog's got to get sick always, right? But anyways, the 416, definitely one of the top assault rifles there is for just anything you want to do. It's good to go. I did test it out a little bit with single shot and long range fire. Didn't like it. I would stick with DMRs if you're going to do that. It's pretty much the same amount of shots on target as a DMR, but the DMR has a lot more accuracy and a tighter spread at distance. So if you're going to try to take people out long range with this, just stick with a DMR. Don't even bother trying to go around it like that. But I really do like the 416. It is one of my favorite weapons in Battlefield 4, and it was in Battlefield 3, so I'm glad they kind of seem to keep the trend with it, because it is one of the best firearms in the world at the moment, and it really holds its own against its counterpart in real life. So I'm really glad that DICE did a good work on this. You're always going to deal with the haters. Certain people feel that weapons are overpowered and such, and that's just the way it is. The M416, in my opinion, isn't one of those weapons. So, to me, if anybody complains that you're using a 416 and calls you a noob or whatever, just ignore them. It's one of my favorite weapons for sure. But I'm kind of excited. We got some China Rising coming out soon. I've been playing quite a bit of that, and we're going to talk a little bit about what I feel about China Rising and its maps and the stupid bomber that they got. If you'd like me to try a loadout, leave it in the comment below, and I'll check out a gun with certain attachments and tell you what I think about it and give it a shot, post a video. And how many of you can recognize the emblem I'm running on my gun? Leave it in the comments below. Let's see how many of you can recognize it. Got two guys. Two guys are running. Stand by. Yep.
Vicinity, yo.
Time's up. One down. Dead. One's down. The other one ran away. Fuck, shooting from the knee like sucked. Alright, pushing off.